Hello, my lovely friends, it's Margaret, and today it is time to talk about the Infernal Devices. The majority of this is just going to be a reading vlog of me rereading the Infernal Devices for the third time, I think. I think this has caught me up to how many times I've read City of the Mortal Instruments ones. So anyways, I'm just here in the same shirt that I was in last video because I had makeup on and I figured it was a good time to wrap up a vlog, but I'm just here to say hi, hello, look pretty, and like give you a good intro into this series before you see me at the beginning of the vlog where I look a mess. So you're gonna notice my hair is much longer at this point than it is in the past. We've had a whole pandemic that has gone through. It is January 2021. I started this at like January, February, March 2020. So that tells you how well this rereading the Shadowhunters books in chronological order is going. I am going to actually be serious about it this year. I have in fact just read, what's it called? Chain of Iron. Highly recommend it. Really am glad that I reread the Infernal Devices before I reread this because, oh, the emotions. Anyways, I'm gonna go to past Margaret so that you can hear her discussing and chatting and talking about her thoughts on the Infernal Devices as she is reading through them very sporadically because I think I did a poorer job of updating you than I did in the first Shadowhunters Diaries, but we are trying this again. So if you remember way back last year, I was gonna do a thing where I started a thing where I was reading all of the Shadowhunters books in chronological order. Guess who forgot to continue on with that? Whoops. Anyways, I'm starting that up again. I was supposed to start that back up again in January, and it is now May. So basically what's happening is I'm reading all of the completed series and the short story collections, and I'm putting them all in chronological order. I'm reading all of the completed series and the short story collections, and I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to get caught up, so I'm doing a 24 and 48 hour readathon type thing, I guess, for the second weekend in a row. The goal for this particular Shadowhunters diary is to read the stories I need to read in the Bane Chronicles. I've already read, what's it called? What Really Happened in Peru. So I need to read The Runaway Queen and Vampires, Scones, and Edmund Herondale before I can go on to the Infernal Devices trilogy. This is the only series that I got finished last time. I just stopped after I read Clockwork Princess. Not sure why that happened. So far, like I said, I've read that first short story in the Bane Chronicles. It's cute, it's funny, it's very Magnus. Like, these are so, like, it's funny because, like, it's still clearly the same character as is in all of the other Shadowhunter novels, but it's got his flair kind of in the narration and the storytelling. So I like that. I like the fact that she also uses different people to help her write these. For this little reading diary, I am starting at 10 p.m. on Friday night, and I'm going to be going until 10 p.m. on Sunday evening, trying to get as much reading as possible, done as possible. I can't words anymore. I think, from what I remember, The Runaway Queen was my least favorite of the three. We'll see if that still holds, because I just didn't care. I didn't. But I'm gonna read the three stories in there, and then we're going to move on to Clockwork Angel. I'm hoping I can get through Clockwork Angel and Clockwork Prince over the weekend and possibly get into Clockwork Princess, because once I get into Clockwork Princess and start reading that and finish it, I can go on and move on to Chain of Gold, which will not be a part of this project because the series is not complete. That's all I have to say for now because it's late and I need to start reading. I will see you later. I guess this is the point where I should say there will be spoilers in this vlog. If you have not read the Shadowhunters books, especially if you have not read the Infernal Devices, don't watch this vlog diary thing. Just skip it if you haven't read them and you're interested in reading them later, because there probably will be spoilers and I'm going to discuss things. So it's the next day, it's Saturday, and I have in fact finished what I needed to read. This dog could stop barking. I barely managed to stay awake long enough to get to the end of Vampires, Scones, and William Herondale. And it's very interesting because I feel like that third story is the only one that has any real meaning of the three. Like, obviously, we've been hearing about what happens in Peru for 6 books. It's definitely in the first 3 Mortal Instrument books at some point, I'm pretty sure. And so we know something happened in Peru, so that's a story that the audience is interested in finding out and wanting to know more about, but The Runaway Queen, I was not quite sure the purpose of. I'm not even sure that it was, it's, like, I can't remember it ever being mentioned in the rest of the Infernal Devices series. Like, this doesn't feel like it's connected to the rest of them, except in the fact that it involves Magnus being Magnus. I mean, it was really funny because he's out there in the middle of the Paris heat, like, dressed to the nines, because he's such a freaking idiot, and I love him. If anyone wants to know who my crush from the Shadowhunters, well, it's Wilhelm Herondale. I don't know why I'm trying to, but like, he's a very, very, very close second. He's just ridiculous enough that, like, I'm into him. I think the one with Edmund was my favorite, just because Herondales. I love Herondales. They're such idiots, and something about them draws me to them. If you've read the Infernal Devices, it's such a good setup. It's like necessary backstory. You kind of understand why his dad is the way that his dad is, if that makes sense. Will's dad, not Eddie's. With that finished, we are moving on to Clockwork Angel. I am really excited because I love this freaking series so much. I just love the characters in this book. I don't know that it's my favorite romance. I feel like that still belongs to Clace. However, I still have not reread the Mortal Instruments, so I might change my mind about that. Because it's really close, because I love Will and Tessa so much. I also love Jim and Tessa, but, like, I love Will and Tessa more because I love Will. Absolutely adore him. This is one of those that I read when I was still close enough in age that it wasn't weird that I was crushing on an 18-year-old. So I had no problem crushing on said 18-year-old, but oh my goodness, I cannot wait because he's such a disaster. I just, like, this is gonna make reading Chain of Gold so good. So good. So good. We are 6 hours and 24 minutes into this whole read all the Infernal Devices or get caught up on the I don't know what I'm calling this particular version of the Shadowhunter Diaries that is not going to end until I've finished all of these books. So I don't know. We might stop keeping track of hours here soon, but it is Saturday night. I am 150 pages into this book. I'm about to settle in and try and get another chunk of this read. I just love this book. Like, I'm having so much fun reading my notes, and, like, most of them are me mocking Will Herondale as much as I love him, or telling Tessa that she is a genius. Like, I have one that literally just says she fits in here so well because she's able to give Will crap from basically day one. Like, they are bantering from the minute they meet, and it's wonderful. I love it. I might have to say they're my favorite. I might have to say they are my favorite. I mean, Clary does slap Jace for almost getting her killed, so, I mean, there's that. But just the banter. I have one note that is, marry him now, because he tells Tessa that he will get her more books. And then he does. Like, I don't understand how there was not a proposal happening in the library in chapter, I think it was 4 or 5. I would have been on one knee and been like, please, you're single. I'm single. Let's just do it. I love it. I love it. I love it so much. The series. When I reread this last year, I didn't have a lot of memory about what was happening, but looking at it, just seeing how many different things are woven together and how she's planting things that are going to be used later on in the series. Like, there's stuff that we don't even see the fruition for 2 more books. And that's good stuff. It is good stuff. I just love it. 2 pieces. She's planting things we won't even see fruition for another 1, 2, 3, 9 books. 9 books. And not counting the Lost Hours, because the Lost Hours is going to add another 3 books, so then it'll be 12 books. I'm going to calm down now because it's bedtime, and I need to, chill enough that I can sleep. But I love how she sets this up. I especially love the fact, and I forget this every time, that it's not just that, Will rescues her at the beginning when she's with the Dark Sisters. It's she takes an active participation in trying to get out of that house. And I like that. I love the fact that she's not just sitting there. Like, she's figuring things out. She's being resourceful with her powers. And that,
I love that. I enjoyed that part. Like, she still needs help getting out of the house, but like she's not the damsel that just sits there tied on the bed going, woe is me. She's like, oh, I have a way I can get out of this. Whoop. Yes, thank you.
I am definitely not getting nearly as much reading done this weekend as I was planning on getting. We're at page 267, and I have thoughts, though. So, here's the thing. Like, we always think of Jim Carstairs as, like, the sweet, can do no wrong, like, soft boy. And I'm realizing this time around that he is just as much of a troublemaker and instigator as Will is. Like, he may not necessarily start all of it, but he is definitely there for the entire thing. Like the scene in the library. Like, you can tell that is just so obviously both Will and Jim being like, well, we're gonna do this thing and see if we can't get information. And I love it. Like, we forget that Jim Carstairs has some spice to him, okay? That was a funny thing to realize this time around, that like Jim's not always perfect and sweet. I mean, he is always perfect and sweet and nice, but sometimes he has a little bit of an edge to him, and not just when dealing with Will. Like, it was really funny because when they're making fun of Tessa, like, he wasn't necessarily making fun of Tessa, but he definitely was being a butt. Like, seriously, son. Anyways, also, we got to the part... I love the part where Will bites the vampire and Jim is just like, what the frack, Will? Why is it every time you're near a vampire you gotta bite him? I mean, I understand, but it's funny, and we're coming to, like, the best part of this book here very soon, because we get to the holy water scene, which, if you're a Wessa shipper, it's like the holy grail of this book. We love that scene. And then Will's an idiot. But, you know, there's some really good stuff there for a while. And I realized they name their daughter after Lucy from A Tale of Two Cities. Like, what? What? Why? Why would you do that? Poor child. Please ignore my laundry sitting in the background, because I just don't have the energy for it at the moment, and I don't care. Because I wear uniforms at work now, so I don't have to wear any of those clothes. So if they get wrinkly, it's not a big deal. Anyways, we're here with an update. It is the 13th of June, and I finished this guy a while ago, and Will Herondale is an idiot, and he always has been an idiot, and I love him so much because he is an idiot. But, like, sometimes he's just like child. Like, what is it about Herondale so that, like, we need to go for the absolute most dramatic way to do things ever? Like, what is wrong with you? Even though I know his reasons and why he is doing this, like, did he have to be that mean to Tessa? Did you really have to do that? Like, it wasn't enough for him to be like, you know, I'm not interested in anything long-term with anyone, because that would be a big turnoff for Tessa. I'm just saying. He didn't have to go quite as hard or be quite as mean. That's basically my thoughts on this book. I think you guys have, whatever you guys have already listened to. I don't remember what I've said so far, because I'm not looking at the camera. I need to look at the camera. It's fine. I just have forgotten how to film. Despite the fact that I filmed earlier today, hence the makeup. We're just dealing with the fact that my skin looks like this right now. Anyways, so I just love the build between Will and Tessa through this book, and then we get to Clock Prince, and I'm utterly and thoroughly frustrated while also enjoying the build between Tessa and Jim. However, and I said this the last time I read this book, like, it is so, like, I don't think I realized, no, I might not have said that until Clockwork Princess or the end of this. Like, it is so apparent that some of the stuff that happens between Tessa and Jim and some of the way things work is happening because Jim is so aware of the fact that he only has a little bit of time. It's so aware of the fact that he's dying. I think they're just... That's a spider. It's one of those things, like one of those catch-22s, because what happens later, I don't want to spoil anything just yet, but we're about halfway through right now. And my gosh, that first kiss was very good, well done, but also disastrous. And I always forget that is the scene where his drugs get dumped on the ground and all of that. But I like the fact that we've really gotten to dig into Jim. And I think that that's part of why Will, Jim, and Tessa, that dynamic works so well for me, because we get an equal amount. We get one book with Will, we get one book with Jim, and then we have Tessa, we have Clockwork Princess, which is coming, where Tessa's gonna, like, she's kind of having to deal with things going on between them. And because the relationship between Jim and Tessa and the relationship between Will and Tessa has been so well fleshed out, and they're so different, it's different draws for each boy for her, it just works. It works, and a lot of people who do love triangles just don't make it work like this. Like, I mean, the whole Clary J. Simon love triangle did not work this well. And by work this well, I mean I wasn't rooting for both boys. Anyways, I already know what Christine is going to be commenting underneath this video. I'm going to continue on reading this. I'm hoping that I'll be able to finish this weekend, actually, and be able to get into Clockwork Princess soon, because we need to. We've just started to kind of get into the backstory of Tessa and figure out, well, I don't want to say that but we've just started to figure out some of the things that Mortmain is doing and how vast his influence has been. I love Will Herondale. He's such a mess. He's so messy, and it's great. I love messy boys in books. They're so much fun to watch. Just be disasters. Another thing, how? Like, they're supposed to be closer than brothers, and yet somehow Will and Jim have not figured out that they're both in love with the same girl. The fact that they're surprised by this. Boys are dumb. They're just dumb. I don't understand it. I don't have quite as many notes in this one, because I don't know why. Maybe because there's less Will in this one. Because most of my notes in the last book were me just being, Will, you're stupid. Will, please stop. Oh, look, it's a Herondale. I can't wait to read your Chain of Gold. This book is making me want to read Chain of Gold so badly. Just to please. I need it. But I don't want to do it until I've reread. I'm going to cry. I'm going to cry reading Chain of Gold. I don't know that this is even an interesting update, except that I'm ranting about the fact that, like, I don't think Jim and Tessa would have happened if Jim hadn't been dying. I mean, literally, it couldn't have happened if Jim hadn't been dying, for reasons that we'll get into in the next book. It is, it's August, and it's time for an update. I finally finished Clockwork Prince, but I haven't gone in to update you guys because I didn't want to. I saw no reason to when I was nowhere near picking up Clockwork Princess. You could say we're a little bit behind schedule. Anyways, the point and the reason I'm here now is because I wanted to give you my final thoughts on Clockwork Prince. And I still stick by what I said the last time I read this series. I feel like Tessa and Jim would not have happened if it had not been for the accelerated timeline that Jim is on. I just don't think it would have happened, because if he had not been on such an accelerated timeline, he would not have kind of, I don't want to say jumped the gun, but he wouldn't have been in such a rush to propose to Tessa. And so the proposal wouldn't have happened when it happened. And then when Will finally gets his crap together and is like, oh, I have been living under a false assumption for the last 6 years or something, like, when that happens, there would have been. So, like, at least, I'm not saying they wouldn't have happened. I'm saying that they wouldn't have happened in this series. Like, it wouldn't have been a thing. They would have happened in the future, where they're supposed to happen. Where they're supposed to happen. Like they were supposed to, okay? Because I'm not gonna lie, I truly do love both couples. I just love Will a little more, because Will is the one I would have picked. Like, I'm not even kidding. The fact that she was able to look Will Herondale in the eye and go, you know, I actually am engaged to someone else now, I would have been like, you know, I need to go fix something real fast. I may have made a hasty decision. I will always choose the bookish boy over the musical boy, as much as I love musical boys. Bookish ones are just, they're the best kind of boys. What was it? I have this tag. Oh, also, okay, so this kind of rubbed me the wrong way on page 420. Oh, it's just a thunder. I thought someone was in my house. There shouldn't be anyone in my house right now but me. This is the part that really bugged me, because there's a point where Tessa's like concerned, where Tessa's being concerned about them losing the institute, and she's wondering about like where is she gonna go, and she goes, I shall find a place, and Jim automatically says, your place is with me, it always will be. Like, does she not get a decision in that, sir? Like, that kind, like, I love Jim as a character, but that one moment I was like, I don't know if Will has had any of those moments yet, but he's also been very like anti, like, no Tessa, I can't hurt her. Like, such a dramatic boy. I wanted to mention that. Like, it slightly rubbed, and I don't, like, here's my thing. Like, I don't think it's any slight against Jim. I think that we see that a lot in romance books, and, like, the female character may have already been thinking the whole thing, like, this is my place, and blah, blah, blah. But, like, I don't know. At 32, almost 33, it does kind of get under my skin when anyone in a relationship decides where someone is supposed to be when that someone has not outright stated that's where they want. Like, you know. Anyways, so that did kind of like stand out to me this time. Like, I put that note in on top of the note that I'd already put in there, which is the one about would this have happened if Jim was not like, oh my god, I'm dying. So anyways, so we've started Clockwork Princess, and the first note that I mean, some of these notes are from before, but the first note that I put is girl please, because she's sitting there thinking about how she's a proper fiance and is only thinking of Jim, and I'm just sitting there going, if you're if you're having to work so hard to be like, no, I'm not thinking of, well, maybe you need to take a step back and consider some things. Like, not even like, I just feel both boys deserve better, but especially Jim deserves better. And I also obviously, I'm not gonna say it out loud though, because we haven't gotten to that part of the spoilers, but I'm ready. I'm ready because I want to read Chain of Gold. I'm so tired of not reading Chain of Gold. I want to know. I also want to see Will Herondale as a father. Like, that is the primary draw for me, because I know he's going to be amazingly ridiculous, and I'm going to love it, and it's going to embarrass his children so much, and I'm going to love it. So, anyways, I am only like 20-something pages in. Let's see, where did I get to? I got to when they just got to the fact that what's his face Lightfield is a worm. Like, yeah, he is a worm. No, like, literally a worm. That's one of the best exchanges in the novel, honestly. Like, we're starting out real strong with this whole thing between the brothers, with Gabriel going like, father's a worm, and Gideon being like, yeah, we knew that. Thanks for joining the party. And Gabriel's like, no, like, literally, he has turned into a giant worm. It must be wild to be a Shadowhunter. Or a warlock, I guess, too, because, like, Magnus Bane has gotten up to something. I'm appreciating Cecily Herondale. Like, every time I reread this, I appreciate her all the more. I don't understand how she can not be into bookish boys, though. Like, what bookish boys, we've already said this. Bookish boys are the best boys. They are. It is empirically proven fact. I have no idea. There are no studies. I don't know. Anyways, I mean, books technically build empathy, and so therefore a boy who reads will have more empathy than one who does not. So obviously bookish boys are better, because that's a struggle. Anyways, I need to go do things. So I'll check in when I have read more. Like I said, I felt like this was a good time to wrap up because I have makeup on, and it's been a couple of weeks since I finished Clockwork Princess by Cassandra Clare. It continues to be my favorite book in the series. It is quite possibly a perfect book for moi. I just don't know how you can be happier with a book. The way this ended, it just fulfills a part of my soul. Let me just, like, why can these Herondale boys not get their life straight? What's going on with James is not James's fault in Chain of Gold. But my goodness, their love lives, it just, so many complications. I do appreciate this somehow. Cassandra Clare is able to come up with different complications for every single, like, they have messed up love lives. That's a trait of being a teenage Herondale, apparently, but, like, they still manage to do it in utterly different ways. I love it. I don't know, I think this might be my favorite Shadowhunters series. I think they are definitely probably my favorite Shadowhunters ship. I thought it was Jason Clary. I think I'm wrong. I think I'm very wrong about that one. I think you cannot top Will and Tessa. I don't think it is possible to write a better ship. Although, James and Cordelia, got promise. I feel like she also kind of hit her limit on how thick books should be when they are Shadowhunter books, because I think that this is one of the ones where she did a good job of pacing and packing it, and there was very little of what I see in some of the later or other books that I've seen by her, where it's very, like, she'll tell you something or she'll show you something and then she'll tell you that something had happened. I think there's less of that in this series and in her, not necessarily her earlier books, but I think there's less of that in this series than there is in the Mortal Instruments. Again, haven't reread the Mortal Instruments yet. We're going to figure that out in a bit. But I do think that this is, like, right at the cusp of when we're starting to go into her overriding, kind of problem that you start to see. But it's still, like, not too, it's like just edging into that, but it's not so far into that you're like, there's way too much here. It's still enjoyable. None of her books have been unenjoyable for me, but, like, this book did not need to be as long as it was. I'm sorry, I loved it, but it didn't. This book did. Also, I think we're going to start to see a theme of the angels swooping in and solving everyone's problems. I'm starting to realize that is also a theme in the books, that, like, somehow being able to use or manipulate angelic power is a plot point that she likes to use. It is a very convenient way to solve problems. And I think, like, there are certain things that you can say about that, and say that maybe that's lazy writing, but at the same time, everyone that I wanted to live lived, so I don't really care. Yeah. If you are interested in more thoughts, I will have the one that I did in 2019 linked up top so that you can watch that as well. But I just wanted to wrap this up because I need to be able to move forward and start with the looking at it Mortal Instruments series. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Also, you can leave some stuff down in my comments if you would like to. Leave an angel emoji if you are not feeling particularly chatty, so that I know that you watched the end of the video. If you are feeling chatty, go ahead and talk to me about the Shadowhunters. Do you disagree with some of the things that I have said? I'm gonna try and take better notes as we go into the Mortal Instruments, but, like, I've got a whole other vlog covering these, so you can also watch that if you would like to have other thoughts. So just, watch more of my videos. Anyways, speaking of watching more of my videos, I will have some over here so that you can watch them and enjoy them as well if you enjoyed this one. That is it for now, my friends. Happy reading, and I will see you later when we will talk about more wordy, nerdy things. Bye!